At the end of this meeting, we will have a question and answer session. So it's often very helpful if you were to rename yourself, so I know who's who, and call on you by name. And let's start. So right now we're on the edge of the end of the first semester. As a reminder, to help you with your cadets discussions, that the semester grade is very clearly limited by, or delimited by 25% for every major marking period and semester exam. So there's no pull it out of the fire type of thing. Basically, hard work will carry the day. Similarly, with a lot of our cadets that are not good with stress, you know, they oftentimes start to panic or have anxiety over the exam, kind of dragging them down too far. And so if you look at the math there, there's really a limited impact of the exam, positive or negative. So really it's about rewarding diligent work throughout the semester. And that may be a teachable moment for some of our guys. From a schedule standpoint, through the rest of this week, Friday will be the end of the new material that's being taught. Monday and Tuesday of next week are review days. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are exam days. And so this is a little bit different for some of our returning cadets. And so again, if you haven't tracked on this or hadn't seen it, somehow slipped past you in the newsletter or the calendar, we are ending the semester here in December. And so, you know, things like that last day before Christmas isn't just another school day before Christmas, but really is the exam. And so the guys are ramping up in intensity here coming up, ramping up in intensity. So again, continue to support your cadet, as I know that you are, and it's an exciting time for them. I do have to apologize that the spring semester course offerings are still being reviewed based on our graduation plans to ensure that our seniors and juniors are getting all that they need, as well as some unexpected cadet interest in some coursework. And so we're adjusting for that right now. It's a little bit like Jenga, as you know, as a small school, it's kind of a reality. We're very flexible and nimble, but we do have to be very careful about pulling schedules and moving them around too quickly. And then my last slide here before I turn it on over to the next department. I know this is something that you expect, but we really do want to make sure that we reward or celebrate our senior class. They're on track with previous years of seniors that did not have to deal with all the anxiety and uncertainty of the COVID situation. And so we already have several students that have received merit, academic, and athletic scholarships. And so, and you can see that right now, at least, that's the list as of earlier today. And it's an exciting time to be a senior. A lot of them are looking at their safety schools coming on in, the schools that they went for early decision, and even a couple early action schools up there. And so it's hard to, I don't want to use too much of your time talking about it as a dream for some of our guys, but there are some dream schools in here, and it really is rewarding for some of these guys to again navigate the roller coaster of high school and now find themselves not just at the end of the road, so to speak, of high school, but actually looking at the options that are available for them. So again, what we're looking for with Mr. Vesci and Ms. Bell is doing thoughtful mentoring of every senior and making sure that they are ready for the next step, as well as have options for that next step. And then the focus will continue to move more towards the juniors and the sophomores as we start looking at aptitudes, looking and getting them to think about the college search in much the same way that we might think about dating, if that doesn't make anybody twitch, and kind of making sure that our guys have their eyes open as they are looking at colleges and just don't fall in love with the first college that makes an overture towards them. I probably should just stop right now before I get a love note from the chaplain. That's it from the academic side. Coach Vesci, I think, is still down at the postgraduate game with his athletic director duties, monitoring that area. But he did leave me some notes for you. And so he asked that if you have not yet completed your risk acknowledgement form, please email a copy of that to vescib@hargrave.edu as soon as possible. That does allow our competitive athletes to compete off-site, as well as to see students from other schools, even though we are working hard to make sure that the other school, the other team, and our school have compatible COVID-19 protocols in place. Some excitement again with celebration. The JV, varsity, and PG basketball teams all came with victories on Saturday afternoon. It was a great afternoon of basketball. Swimming is doing a first for them this week. They are participating in Norfolk Academy Virtual Swim Meet, which will bring together schools that normally only meet at the state meet later on in March. And so we'll have a virtual meet, in which case several schools will have officiating crews and automatic computerized timers going. And again, this is focusing on the fact that young men oftentimes need a competitive mark on the wall, so to speak, to keep them focused. This Friday and Saturday, we have a sort of a double hitter against Blue Ridge School, taking them on Friday at their place, and then welcoming them to Hargrave here on Saturday. And again, Blue Ridge School is another boarding school with a compatible COVID policy. I know that it's sometimes frustrating to be away from campus, and so YouTube is hosting our HMA feed, and so all our home contests are streamed by YouTube. And then for those that are wondering, and somehow their cadet hasn't conveyed this to them, there is no athletic practice on Friday afternoon. Dismissal will occur after the last exam, which ends at 12:30. So with saying that, I believe that I am now done, and you will be able to hear someone else's voice besides mine. So let me turn it on over to the Commandant. There you go, sir.
All right, thank you, Dr. Tung. Good evening, parents. We've had a pretty busy start back after the Thanksgiving break, culminating with Sunday night's hanging of the green ceremony. If you all haven't looked at it, it's on the HMA video account on YouTube. So if you search HMA video, you should be able to find the hanging of the green ceremony. Everyone who has a cadet that's a first sergeant, an executive officer, or company CO, they had a speaking part in the event, and then the band did a great job playing music throughout. It's a kind of a traditional Christmas ceremony marking the start of the Advent season. So also at the end of that, I want to thank the parent council. They did a great job filling tables and tables of the mess hall with cookies and cake. So much so that it's Wednesday tomorrow, and I'm sorry, it's Tuesday today, and we'll still have cookies tomorrow on Wednesday here in the military office that the boys still haven't eaten. So thank you to them for doing that. Tomorrow, we will do our initial drill competition. That'll see the cadets formed up as a company, competing against the other companies to see who can march and who looks better in their uniform. So with that, they'll get a streamer for their guide on, and we're going to be taking the winners out to a nice dinner later on before we break for Christmas. Also on Friday night, we've got meritorious performers. So that's the cadets that have good grades, haven't had a certain number, they've stayed under a threshold of disciplinary or character report coming in. We're going to be doing something special for them on Friday night in the mess hall. We're going to recognize the Cadets of the Month for November this week. And then we're working on promotions for the cadets before they go home. They should be getting a promotion if they've earned it. So ask them when they get home. I'm sure they will be excited to tell you that they get to put something extra on their chest or on their shoulder once they get back. When you all come in to pick up your cadets, if you're coming in, you can drop off toys. We have a box located here for the Toys for Tots program. It's a Marine Corps Reserve program. They asked us if we would put a box here. So we're collecting toys. They'll come and pick them up, and they hand them out in the area to children that otherwise wouldn't get a toy for Christmas. A couple notes in bold down at the bottom. The cadets, even if you've made travel arrangements and sent them over to Miss Loney in the military department with cadet services, the cadets still have to turn in travel passes. They know this. The leadership is telling them that. But they should be communicating with you hopefully sooner than later, because they've got to turn those in no later than noon next Wednesday. We would like to get them before that so we can start to plan for everyone's departure. If you need transportation for your cadet to get to the bus station, the train station, or an airport, please make sure that you're sending Miss Loney an email with the itinerary so that we can set that up. If you have questions, she's the one to contact, and she'll be able to walk you through any questions that you have regarding transportation. Cadets cannot leave prior to noon on Friday of next week, the 18th, because they're going to be taking exams. So, and we also need to know if there's some cadets that have to stay through Saturday morning because the flights just aren't available on Friday night. We need to know that as well so that we can have staff and everybody else ready and prepared to make sure we're supervising and providing care for the cadets that may have to stay here through Saturday. And other than that, that's all I've got.
And good evening to everybody. Just a quick reminder as we're moving into another enrollment season that we are offering our parent referral incentive. If you know families out there that would like to send their son to Hargrave or there's some would benefit from attending, we'd love to hear from them. And you can contact us in the admissions office if you need any assistance or have families that you'd like to contact or put in contact with us. Hope your sons are doing well and looking forward to a strong finish to the semester.
All right, thanks, Jim, for unmuting me. I want to echo the Hanging of the Greens service that was conducted by the Corps Cadets. Probably 30% of the cadets had some involvement in that Hanging of the Greens, and it was just literally a phenomenal event that evening. I happened to go to the rehearsal on Thursday, and between that rehearsal on Thursday and the actual service on Sunday, the boys made a lot of progress, certainly with the music and how they presented themselves when they were speaking. So if you have a chance to watch that video, please do so. It was an outstanding performance. That was my third one, and it was by far the best. It was outstanding. So hopefully you get a chance to watch and listen to that. Just a reminder for folks that cadets return from Christmas break is delayed a week to January 10th. So hopefully everybody enjoys that additional week with their son. And I'm sure the cadets won't be heartbroken about that. But we have been trying to get that word around. Some cadets were unaware. So again, just plan for that. As the second semester starts next year, we plan on doing on Fridays for a period of time life skills. And Dr. Tong is working with the faculty and the military department to come up with those classes. But it's something we've wanted to do for quite some time. Actually, one of our cadets, Cadet Ponton, sent me something back in September, early October, identifying not only his interest, but interest from other cadets to learn some of those life skills or man skills type things. And so we've been working to put that together. So we're excited about probably 4 to 6 weeks of the first Fridays will be some of those life skills. And again, we're working out the curriculum, but things like etiquette, manners, use of tools, personal finance, just things like that. Dr. Tung's finalizing that curriculum, and we'll let you know what those things are so you can engage your cadet. Again, we don't try to replace parenting, but we do try to replicate it. And those life skills and man skills might be some good things for the cadets to learn. So we're excited about get that going. It's kind of a pilot program, and we hope to expand on it next year. As we stated earlier, this semester, we closed all the weekends. For this semester, we're going to keep all the weekends closed until spring break. So that's an 11-week period. We will certainly have clubs, activities, intramurals on the weekends, and also some other special activities that we'll put together. We'll continually assess the COVID posture of what's going on. And if there's an opportunity or chance to provide somewhat of an open weekend, we will try to do that before spring break. But currently, we're planning on all weekends closed until spring break. And then spring break's a little bit later this year. And then when we come back, there's about 6 weeks, and we're rolling into graduation. So it's been a fast year. It'll continue to be fast, and but we're excited about letting our seniors hit the final stretch after the Christmas break. With that, Jim, I have no other notes or comments, so we can open up for questions and answers.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So I have not received anything via text or chat box here in Zoom. So what I'm going to do is unmute everybody and then mute them all again. But you'll have the opportunity, if your microphone is live, that's your signal to me to call on you. So
well, Jim, while you're doing that, I'm going to just express how proud I am of the cadets. Ever since we really had to clamp down on some of the COVID protocols, they've done a great job. Because they've done a great job, that's allowed us to have the swim meets. It's allowed us to do basketball, and it'll further allow us to have a robust spring sports coming up next spring. So kudos to them. And when they come home over Christmas break, just really encourage all the families to maintain those safe protocols so the boys can return healthy and remain healthy throughout the second semester.
all right. Well, thank you, sir. All right. So if you hit your unmute button, I will call on you and you can ask a question. Maybe I'm out of practice here. Oh, I've got a question here coming through via text. So, and let me just type this in here for you guys. Colonel Brown, this one's for you. Could there be a possibility of senior parents only to attend some parades and sporting events going forward? That would be great. I know that there's certainly some appeal to that. Sir?
That is an outstanding recommendation, and I'm going to ask the commandant and the athletic director, who's not on the call, but also Dr. Tung, to continually remind me about our events that come up. And I'll tell you, to the greatest extent possible that we think it's safe and able to, we will absolutely try to make it possible for senior parents to attend. Thank you for letting us see outside the box. Sometimes we get in our little bubble here in tiny Chatham, and that's a great recommendation. We are somewhat tied to numbers because currently, at least for sporting events, the governor has kept that limit of 25. We'll see if that's relaxed. However, that's specifically for sporting events, so educational events, there is no limit. So we can traverse that gray area. So we'll do the best we can, certainly.
All right. Do you have a question here about the Great Barrington Declaration? So let me just pop that over there, and gonna find out who's been watching the news here. So I think normally this is one of the things that we would ask our infirmary head to actually give a comment on. So, but I don't know if Colonel Brown, this is the place for it.
I would have to defer to the nurses to give the subject matter expertise perspective. I know from talking with our epidemiologist, there as COVID takes place and they learn more and more about data, not only from hospitalizations, but deaths, but also from recoveries across all those demographics. So initially, one of the things we were informed of was, people could lose up to 10% of their lung capacity. And that was back in July, after only a few months. So I can only imagine what the scientists have learned as they continue to study this. And so we'll just sit tight and watch for that information, and again, comply with CDC and VDH recommendations based on that. And also be diligent in keeping our cadets safe.
And I know, sir, you've also been in contact with several other heads of schools about the economic impact and a whole bunch of other things that are kind of the bigger picture that also that declaration had. All right. Any other? I think, Wes, I saw a flash there of your microphone. I don't know if you were just doing that to make sure I didn't feel too bad about talking to myself.
Yeah, I think that was just a flash in the pan. Sorry.
I got you. All right. Any other questions, folks? All right, then. I certainly don't want, or we don't want anybody to feel like their question wasn't heard, particularly if there's a technical glitch on their end. But what I'd like to do is kind of let you guys get on with your evening. I know that in this time of the season, that there's a whole bunch of exciting things going on, even in a COVID world. And so that's my kind of hint for last call for any questions. And I'll turn it over to Colonel Brown for any last comments. And then, as usual, as our tradition here, we will not leave until the last person logs out. So it's a little bit like we'll turn the lights out. So if you have any questions, certainly you can hang back after the group is dismissed. Sir?
Just to expand on the question about the Barrington Declaration, I know it's gaining support, but we've, unknowingly to us, we've took a stance from the beginning of school that we wanted to have as normal of a school experience as possible while maintaining a posture that mitigates the risk of COVID. And I think we've done a really good job of that. We haven't, knock on wood, we haven't had a case, since latter part of October, and that was the end of some quarantine periods. So we haven't had a faculty come down with COVID, and they're constantly in contact with the cadets. So I think we've done a good job of doing that, and we will certainly continue to do that. And I really do praise the cadets for stepping up. We still have a few that need reminders here and there, but by and large, they're doing great by following the protocols. Not just wearing masks, but also keeping their rooms clean, keeping their hands clean, minimizing that contact, maintaining social distance to the greatest extent possible, because there are times when social distancing, may not occur, especially when you have a bunch of hungry teenagers wanting cookies after hanging in the greens. But we work through all those things. So again, please kudos to your cadets when they come home, and again, reinforce the need to maintain those protocols. Because although they say kids are at low risk, that is true, but kids with any level of obesity or any underlying conditions like asthma or diabetes are still at high risk, even though they're young.
All right, sir. So again, folks, I wish you all good night from the academic side, and I'll remain behind as well as the other department chairs if there are any questions.
Hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas and an even happier New Year.